Hi, and welcome to Mixed with Meaning, where we mix cocktails and rituals to pour presence and craft connection. I'm Pete, and today I'm excited to share with you how to make our cocktail that we call Constructive Interference. This drink is dark, delicious, and a little bit disturbing. It's all about different flavors that don't want to fit together, but find a way to bounce off each other and create something that's more than the sum of their parts. At the end of this drink, I'm going to offer you a ritual that's all about finding the constructive tension and the constructive path forward through obstacles that you might be finding frustrating right now. To make this drink, you're going to need Lafroig Select Scotch, Elijah Craig Bourbon, green chartreuse, a dark chocolate liqueur, simple syrup, fresh mint and lime, as well as ice. To serve this drink, you're going to need, of course, a glass. You're going to need a cutting board and knife, a hand juicer, a cocktail shaker, either with a built-in measuring cap or a jigger. You're also going to need a dropper for the chartreuse. You don't have to have it, but it's helpful. And you're going to want a strainer as well. To make this drink, begin by taking 2 leaves of mint and slapping them to bring their oils to the surface. Then drop them into the shaker. Follow that with 7/8 of an ounce of lime. 7/8 is a little bit less than a full ounce. Next, add 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. Followed by 3/4 of an ounce of your dark chocolate liqueur. Next, add 3 drops of green chartreuse. Or if you can't get chartreuse, you can use Genepi as a reasonable substitute. Now you can just pour this into the cap and pour 3 drops, but you really don't want to get 4 or 5 or 6 because this is so potent and this drink is subtle. So what I recommend is pour a little into the cap, then use a dropper. 1, 2, 3, so much easier. Follow that with 1 1/4 ounce of bourbon. And a 1/2 ounce, and I really want to encourage you to use the Lafroig here because it's got just the right flavor profile. Now, add ice. And give this a good shake. To serve, you're going on a cocktail strainer to get out any of those bits of mint. Here you have the Mixed with Meaning Constructive Interference. Now, when I developed this drink, I had a thought in mind for combining flavors that really were typically in conflict, but getting the balance and the pairings just right to hold them together as one integral flavor. I struggled and struggled and struggled and was finding things that were very interesting, but I couldn't find the flavors actually latching onto each other as much as bouncing off of each other. Actually, at some point, I decided to go with that, and I ended up with this drink, which I think is even better than what I intended. Each sip of this drink, in my experience, tastes different than the last, and the flavors are very dynamic. You get hints of one and then the other, and they interact in different ways every time you drink it, and every time the temperature changes a little bit or the amount that you take into your mouth changes a little bit. So it was really an obstacle that I encountered, that I was getting really frustrated, and instead of trying to end up working through that obstacle, I found a way to work with parts of that obstacle as an opportunity. To pair with this drink, what I'm going to suggest is a ritual of taking obstacles in your life and bypassing some of the frustrations and focusing on how those frustrating aspects can become opportunities for you, maybe to create something that you hadn't intended. So to do this, you're going to need a metal bowl or something to burn in, as well as paper and pen, and a lighter, and a safe place to actually do a little burning. So what you're going to do is start by choosing something that seems like it's an obstacle in your life right now, and write that obstacle at the top of your sheet of paper and underline it. And then below it, on the left-hand side, write frustrations and underline that. And beneath that frustration, list all of the things about that obstacle that you're currently finding frustrating. A recent experience for me was getting my liquor license to launch this business. So I'm going to write liquor license and then frustrations over on the left. Now, what was frustrating about having to get my liquor license was that originally it was supposed to take 4 to 8 weeks to review and approve this catering liquor license, but it ended up taking 6 months. And that delay delayed a lot of the launch of my business. So under frustrations, I'm going to write delay. Now, you might have a long list of frustrations for this obstacle that's in your life right now. Write them all out. Go nuts. When you're done with that, or when you feel like you're starting to dry up with those frustrations, move over to the other side of your sheet of paper and write the word opportunities at the top. And about now, you might want to set this up and then make your drink and start tasting your drink now. And notice how all these flavors are bouncing around and moving, and it's kind of a disharmonious drink. It almost has discord in it, but I find really delicious and unique and interesting. And what I want you to do is get into a frame of mind where things aren't stuck, they're not static, they can be more than one thing at once. And think about a way that this obstacle and these frustrations actually can become opportunities for you. Now, almost universally, you could say that anything that's a frustration or an obstacle could be a growth opportunity for yourself or a way to develop more patience. And you can absolutely write those kinds of things here. Go ahead and do that. But what I'm interested in is also the creative ways in which the obstacle might cause you to realize things that you hadn't, or actually end up with some sort of a better end outcome. So for me, in this case, my liquor license being delayed forced me to get more and more clear about why I wanted to do this business and my purpose and how I was going to launch this business and why it was worth taking the extra time to actually get this underway rather than just going back to my corporate life. And that clarity is actually a huge asset to me now for the business and in my life. So under opportunities, I'm going to write clarity. Keep thinking like that creatively and fill out your list of opportunities. You may end up needing more than one sheet of paper or not. Now, what I'm going to offer you is a chance to shift your perspective off of the frustrations and toward the opportunities. And as you embrace those opportunities, to consider letting go your attachment to the frustrations, knowing that they exist and they're not what you want, but that's the way the world is. And if you're willing to accept and maybe move on from those frustrations and not let them get you so bogged down and negative, you'll be able to make the most of those opportunities. So to do that, what I'm going to suggest is actually tear out everything on the left side of your sheet of paper. Tear out all of those frustrations. So you're literally detaching them from you and from the situation. Now, there might be some of those frustrations that you're honestly not really ready to let go of, that you still want to feel negative about and frustrated. And that's okay if that's the case. If there are, copy those back onto your sheet of paper because they're still attached to the situation for you, right? Frustrations and write just those ones that you're not really ready to let go of. And then those ones that you're not ready to let go of on this torn out sheet, cross them off so they're kind of not included on that list. And now I want you to get really clear about what your frustrations were about these, maybe any way those helped you, maybe led to any of the opportunities, and get clear that you're really ready to let go of your negative attachment to them and move on. When you've done that, you can prepare to burn them. So get your metal bowl, make sure you're in a safe place to actually burn something. Please don't cause any damage or risk any safety. And get your lighter and your paper. And you can say anything you want to these frustrations or to yourself about them. But for me, I'm going to say that I'm ready to move on from the frustration of the delay in my liquor license and embrace the opportunities of clarity for my business. I release this frustration. I wish it well. May it be free, and may it no longer be attached to me. Now, the energy that was captive in that paper has literally been burnt and chemically exchanged into something that will never go back together the way that frustration was written down. That's all freed, and you can take that and throw it in the trash, or you can add it to the earth, or whatever you'd like to do with it. That's a process of shifting your mindset from the negative, frustrating aspects of an obstacle and towards now what you have left is your obstacle and all of the opportunities. Maybe some frustrations that you're not ready to let go of yet, but maybe that will come in the future. This is Mixed with Meaning's Constructive Interference. I hope you find it delicious, but even more, I hope you find it meaningful. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please comment, because that means a lot to me. And as always, please subscribe and share.